Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jack. I'm the founder here at Scenarios. We're a marketing agency based in London that helps e-commerce brands set up effective campaigns on Facebook and Instagram. And in this week's video, we're going to be talking about the easiest way to test your Facebook ad creatives when you are first starting out. When you want to launch a campaign for a new product, or perhaps this is your first time launching Facebook ads for your brand, you don't have any past data that you can reference in order to make decisions on what sort of creative or what sort of content is going to resonate with your audience. And so initially what you want to do is test as many different types of content, creative angles, different variations, headers, marketing messages to see what works and what doesn't and what resonates with particular audiences. And the easiest way to do this, especially as I said, if you're first starting out, is by leveraging what Facebook calls dynamic creative. This feature, perhaps you're already familiar with it, allows you to upload up to 10 pieces of content, 5 different pieces of copy, 5 different headlines to Facebook, and then Facebook will automatically create combinations based on the users that are viewing your ad, as well as trying to find the winning combination of creative, copy, and headline. So just right off the bat, by using those 10 pieces of content, 5 different pieces of copy, and 5 headers, you have more than 250 possible combinations for your ads. And as you can imagine, that's going to be very, very powerful, and it's going to save you a lot of time as opposed to trying to test all of those variables manually. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to jump into the ad account and show you how you can create a dynamic creative test, as I like to call it. And then we're going to look at examples of different brands that use dynamic creative tests. And then finally, we're going to talk about just a few things to keep in mind when you're looking to run this sort of campaign. Okay, so we are in an example ad account right here, and I'm just going to show you and take you through step by step how you can create a dynamic creative campaign. So we're going to click create, and our objective, as always for e-commerce, is going to be conversions. We can name the campaign for now as cold campaign. And for the ad set, the way I like to name my ad sets when we're doing dynamic creative tests is the audience. So let's say you are using a 1% lookalike, for example, and then we want to say what product or what sort of ad that we're creating. So let's say we're creating an ad for our face mask right here, and then we're just going to label it with DCT, and that stands for Dynamic Creative Test, and then we're just going to put the date right here, which is the 11th of April, which is today, and then we're going to click continue. And the dynamic creative testing is actually found on the ad set level when you're editing your campaign. So for the campaign right here, there's nothing much to edit, and I would suggest you don't turn on campaign budget optimization for this sort of campaign because you want to manually set the budget for your ad set. So at the ad set level right here, we are going to, in this case, you're going to have your own pixel. This is just an example ad account, so obviously we don't have a pixel set up, but you want to make sure that you're optimizing for purchases, and this is where you're going to switch on the dynamic creative. Once you click that, Facebook will explain to you what this means, but as I said, what essentially this allows you to do is upload multiple pieces of content, and Facebook will automatically combine them to find out the best combination. Set your budget right here. With dynamic creative test, you want to use a higher budget to start out, just because also obviously it's going to depend on how many combinations you're looking to test initially, but you want to give Facebook enough budget to try all the combinations and see what works. Select your audience right here. For now, we'll just leave that blank. In the placements, depending if you want feed ads or story ads, you might want to click on manual placements and set the placements for what you like. We'll just leave that for now. And then we'll go down to the ad level. In the ad level right here, what we want to do is set up what the name of the ad is going to be. So for example, face mask, DCT, again, dynamic creative test, and then the 11th of April. One thing I also like to add here is just the dimensions of the ad. So this is for example, can be a feed ad. So 4x5 is what we usually use for Facebook and Instagram feeds. So scroll down that right here, and this is where Facebook is going to allow you to essentially select the media, the videos, the images, as well as the copy for your ad. And as you can when you click select images, you have up to 10 images that you're able to select. You want to upload them one by one, or you can upload images and videos together. Just make sure they're all within the same dimensions so that it looks consistent and you're actually testing the creative itself and not the dimensions. So you can either select images or videos. You can select up to 10 here. We usually go for around 4 or 5. We don't find it necessary to go up to 10 combinations, just because when you are going, as I said, with more combinations, you need more of a budget to essentially test each one. You'll have the option here to optimize creative for each person. So Facebook obviously has a lot of data on how people interact with ads, how people interact with different creatives, and so you're actually able to optimize your ad delivery based on the user that's watching the ad. So that's something you could keep on. We haven't really tested it too much to see how much of a difference it makes in the performance of the ads, but it's something that we usually keep on when we're doing dynamic creative tests. So once you've uploaded the images right here, and you can add different copy options. So copy 1, you can add up to 5 options as I mentioned, copy 2, and then you can add up to 5 headers as well. So header 1, header 2, and so on and so forth. And you can create many different combinations. You can also add different call to actions. We haven't seen a huge variation in the performance from different call to actions. The two main ones that we use for e-commerce are either learn more or shop now, pretty much. Make sure you add the correct URL, whether that be to your landing page, to your shopping page, to your home page, whatever you wherever you're obviously whatever product you're promoting, you want to send them to that landing page. And then you pretty much can launch. Now, one thing you might say is, when I'm first starting out, I just don't have that many options when it comes to creatives, and that's a very valid point. But what you want to usually do with dynamic creative testing is not create 10 completely different ad creatives to test out. What you want to try to do is make subtle changes, either to the header of the image if you're using images, to the header of the video if you're using video. And if you are using video ads, one thing you can do is just test out the first 3 seconds. So switch up the first 3 seconds of the ad when you're uploading different variations of the video to see which one is gonna draw more attention in and perform better. So to show you a very quick example of this, this is a brand called Caraway Cookware, and although I can't be entirely sure whether or not they're using dynamic creatives in this specific case with these ads, but what you can see here is they have the exact same video right here, but the only thing that's different is this header right here. So Mother's Day is May 9th, and here they have looking for the perfect gift for Mother's Day. So they have this other video right here, and they're testing the same exact 2 header variations. Mother's Day is May 9th, looking for the perfect gift for Mother's Day. So all of these ads can actually be uploaded into a dynamic creative campaign with different pieces of copy to see which headers are resonating more with your audience. And you might say, well, it might not make a big difference, but you'll be actually surprised to how big of a difference in performance you can see from varying the headers, varying the first 3 seconds of the ad, because Facebook ads, people are going to decide whether or not they're interested in your product within the first few seconds of looking at the ad. So if you're not able to capture attention then and there, people are just going to keep scrolling. So once you've launched your dynamic creative test, give the ad a few days to breathe, and then start to look at what combinations are working. I'm going to jump into the ad account again and just show you how you're able to see from your Facebook ads manager what creative and copy combinations are working and how you can set them up to launch again. Okay, so we are in a example ad account where we're currently running a dynamic creative test, and in order to find out which combinations of content and creative are working, what you want to do is click on this button breakdown right here, and you want to click on buy dynamic creative element, and you want to click on image, video, or slideshow to show in order to see what sort of images or videos are actually resonating the best, are generating the best results, or you can click on text to see what pieces of copy are generating the best results, and then you can look at your headlines as well. So Facebook won't automatically show you the optimum combination, unfortunately, and so you have to look at each one manually and see which ones are performing better, and then you want to take the best text that you're seeing, the best image or video, and the best header, combine them all and launch them in a new campaign. at a higher budget. So in order to see which image is performing best, again, we're going to click on that right here, and then Facebook will give us a breakdown of which video we uploaded is doing better, which one's generating more purchases, and so on and so forth. Again, we can do the same thing right here for the copy. So if we go to dynamic creative element and then we click text, we can see for the different copy options right here, which ones are generating a better click-through rate, which ones are generating lower cost per clicks, which ones are generating more purchases. And again, we can take those combinations and then launch new campaigns based off of that. So now that you've seen how to create dynamic creative tests and how you can actually analyze the data and understand which combinations are working, there's a few things to keep in mind when you're looking to launch campaigns with dynamic creative testing. The first thing I mentioned earlier is that you need to use a higher budget when you first start out, especially if you're using quite a large number of combinations. Again, Facebook just needs that budget to be able to effectively test all different combinations and come up with the best performing ones. The second thing that's also important to mention here is with dynamic creative tests, you are unable to keep the social proof that's being built up on the ads. So let's say you create a dynamic creative test and then you take the best performing image, the best performing copy, and the best performing header, and you put them all together and you launch a new ad. You're not able to keep any of the social proof, the likes, the comments, the engagements that you had on the previous ad. So that's just something that you need to keep in mind. I still love to use dynamic creative tests when we're working on new accounts because again, it allows you to test many different variables simultaneously and it saves a lot of time. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it valuable. Let us know if you've ever tried dynamic creative testing. Did they work for you? What do you like about them? What don't you like? And be sure to give us feedback on the video and we'll see you guys in the next one.